What's up, guys? Ablazeolive here. I feel inspired to make a analysis video about a concept that a lot of people probably know about but don't really understand what it means. And I wanted to sort of explain it best I could at sort of a basis level, just so that people understand when somebody says, "Oh, they're playing for tempo," blah blah, what they're talking about. Um, and tempo is basically it's just time or speed. Um, like how fast you do something. But I think a better way of understanding it, rather than just a definition, is sort of examples of how people use it and using those to be like, okay, now I sort of understand, you know, everything's sort of coming together, what that picture looks like, because it sort of like changes slightly depending on the context that it's used in, and without having a trained ear on being able to pick up what exactly they're talking about, you can get a little lost. So I thought it'd help out. I'm gonna use some clips from the LCS finals here to help explain. And the first concept that you need to know about with tempo is how to play for it, which is obviously the first thing you need to know. But what does that mean? What does playing for tempo mean? Well, the general knowledge that would make sense would be that if you win a fight, then that's when you do your objective. But playing for tempo means you do the opposite. You play for side waves, you base, you clear wards, stuff like that. That's playing for tempo, and you'll see that in this clip here. C9 uh, does an example of it, where TL is making an aggressive play on mid, and it ends up not working, or rather, they end up dying. They do get the tower, but um, two people end up dying for it, which is obviously not good. And if you pause right here, maybe some other teams, some lesser teams, maybe solo queue teams would do this, or amateur teams would do this. Maybe they would go group mid as 5 and try and push the tower. They have a wave coming, and they have 5 people, and they don't really have any engage ultimates. If you wait like 2 seconds, Core JJ is going to try and engage and completely miss it. So if you look, you actually could feasibly make an argument that maybe C9 should go mid here, but no pro team would ever do this. No good pro team would ever do this because it's so bad for tempo. If you look at the minimap, you'll see here on both side lanes, at least from as far as I can tell, they're both pushing towards C9, which means that if C9 does not go to them, it's just going to be a big block of creeps around these turrets that C9 will have to catch at that point if they want to be strong. And in this hypothetical world where they do this, that would give TL the time to just sort of walk in and do whatever they want, because at the same time, 2 C9 members will be on the side lane. So they don't have any business fighting, and TL will get total control of whatever they want. So C9 makes a smart move here. They basically say, okay, we got the 2 kills. We can't get an objective because it's too bad for tempo, so we're just going to have people base and go catch side waves. So you'll see Niski base, Svenskeren like use sweeper and then base, Zazal base, stuff like that. It's all very efficient. You don't want to just get an objective just because you can in a pro game. You need to keep control of the game state. And C9, since they're fighting here from behind, they want to fight back the initiative that TL has and get control and try and keep that control. So let's move on to the next clip where you'll see that situation happen again here, right? Where now we're at 25 minutes and Baron's up. You'll see Xmithy here gets caught, ends up dying here. And if you pause right here, you could make an argument that maybe C9 should start Baron, and it would be pretty scary. I mean, whether they could do Baron is not super important. It's more about if they don't want to 50-50 the game, which is basically what Baron would be, then the next best play is playing for tempo, which is making sure that they all base and get out on the map quickly. And this goes into the next sort of phrase I say, or I'm going to call it, which is saying who has tempo. And obviously, right now, it's going to be C9 has tempo because Xmithy's dead. You'll see the main roles you want to look at when trying to determine like which team has tempo is jungle and support. So right now, I'm going to pause it right now. You'll see Xmithy's still dead, and Svenskeren is leaving the base right now. Zazal is basing right now, and Core JJ is not basing. So the jungle and support of C9 are both ahead sort of on the next play if you think about it like that. This play is over. They're starting the next play. Svenskeren already based. He's ready to do the next play. Zeyzal's basing right now, and he's going to go on the map. Also, he has a mobility boost, which is important because Korje doesn't. So in this situation, C9 as a team has tempo over TL, and this is something super important, especially if you take into consideration stuff like Mountain Drake, where TL has 2 Mountain Drakes. So if they get control of Baron Pit with virtually no contest, it's really bad because C9's gonna have to check Baron all the time because they have double Mountain. They can do it in 2 seconds. And like I just said, objectives affect tempo just like everything else can affect tempo. Despite the fact that both jungle and support of C9 is ahead on tempo, that doesn't actually result in C9 getting control of the river right now. And you'll see why. Certain champions are better at sort of playing for this this concept basically. And you'll see Sneaky right now is trying to clear this mid wave, but he has no mid turrets up. And there's a LeBlanc on the enemy team, so he's too far up basically. And when you're trying to play for this river control, most likely I assume his team is saying, okay, we have tempo, we should play up. So he's trying to get the wave because you always want to get the mid wave before walking into the river, because if you don't, then you'll have to catch the mid wave and then they can walk in when they see you on the wave. So you always want to kill this wave, but since he has nobody near him, Jensen just walks up and tries to chunk him. And you'll see that if Sneaky, if you if you just place a turret here, right, he's completely fine. Like if you put the tier 1 turret here, he's completely fine. He's not going to die. He's not even worried at all. Just like Doublet is, he's completely not worried. And he's playing Ezreal, so he's super safe. And if that were the case, Alistar and Gragas are going to be walking into the river right now, and Skarner and Braum are just leaving the base. So they would have full river control with no contest. It wouldn't be able to fight it at all, and that'd be really good for C9 because they're slightly behind in this game. But because of this little nuance, right? These little really small things really matter in games like this. Tempo is so important. Things like this matter so much. This play that Jensen makes here, I mean, just pulling Zeyzal over here and not having him walk in is so bad for C9 because now they're going to have no control. And Jensen kind of ends here by using W, and he ends again later, but don't worry about that. He has to burn flash here, but Zeyzal just lost so much time, and now Braum is basically at the same spot as him. But since he has no combo, he's an Alistar, he can't do anything. He has to run away now. So now he's just down on tempo. You look at Braum, he's farther up on the map than he is. And you see Svenskeren's like, yeah, let's go, guys. Let's get this river control. Oh, wait, never mind. I have to run away because he can't do anything. His team's not ready to play and get this control because of that play. And then Jensen dies here, but that's beyond the scope of this. And I kind of mentioned it there about being on the same tempo as your team, and that's where this next play comes in, which is this is an example of C9 all being on the same tempo. Really good job. Sneaky and Zeyzal don't need a base. Sneaky has TP, so he can always base, and Zeyzal just came from base, I think, so he has full wards. The top side of C9 all base at the same time, and they're all leaving to go to their lanes at the same time, and they all end up doing and are all ready for the play at the same time. So if you think about what the play for C9 is going to be, it always is based around minion waves, and like I said, you always have to kill the mid minion wave first. Or not first, but you just always want to make sure you get the mid minion wave to make sure you can walk in without having to walk back out. And your side lanes, you want to make sure are at least the same or like ahead in tempo if you're going to walk in. So you'll see Kled here is virtually matched Aatrox. Kled probably doesn't feel safe to catch this bot wave against a Skarner and a Tahm Kench because he doesn't know where they are yet because they haven't walked in. So he can't really do anything over here. He's just doing the Krugs, which is pretty efficient. And Sejuani knows this, obviously, and Aurelia is clearing this wave because his wave was a little backed up. So they use their time efficiently. They killed the camps, and now they're walking in. Aurelia feels safe to catch this top wave because his team is sort of close, and it would be really risky for TL to actually make this play. So basically, they just walked straight from base and instantly made their play, even getting the camps on the way out. This is really efficient use of their time, and they instantly get control and their ahead, so this is really good. Bravo to C9, this is good. Everyone's on the same tempo, basically. Now, this next clip is very similar to the clip I just showed you, but there's going to be a difference in the junglers. So, TL's Xmithy's dead here. They killed 2 people, and Xmithy died for it. But okay, he spawned now, and he's ready to go. and you'll see, I'll skip ahead here, and you'll see that everything's pretty much the same, except Xmithy's doing wolves right now. Whereas Svenskeren, he did one camp, he just did race, and then went with a dual lane. Xmithy is doing something a little more advanced. Now, I'm not really going to talk about which is the correct play. I'm just going to explain the two plays, which is, as Xmithy, you can either do what Svenskeren did, which is just, you have time for one camp, and then you can walk in, and then they would be all in the same tempo. Or, and that would be, in this situation, be called pushing the tempo, because you're not heading off blue, you're not getting this gromp, and that's kind of bad for Xmithy as a champion, Xin Zhao, excuse me, as a champion, because Xin Zhao wants to farm. That would be called pushing the tempo, which is a little advanced concept, so I won't talk about it too much. But that would be what that is called. So when you hear someone saying they're pushing the tempo, it means that they're sort of skipping steps. If like Sivir doesn't have flash and you have a Jarvan, then you don't want to do all these camps because then the flash might come back up. You want to go bot lane, instantly press R on the Sivir, get the kill, and take the dragon, stuff like that. Or if TP is down, then you don't want to play it slow. But in this situation, TL is so far ahead, they can actually play it slow, and it's really fine. So this is the situation. I wanted to mention the pushing the tempo concept. It doesn't happen in this clip, but I just wanted to point out it's similar to last game where all of TL is ready to walk in. It's just not Xmithy, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, like I said, but they're just not ready to walk in. So they end up just sitting here for a while. And in other games, this would be a really big mistake. But in this game, it's actually fine, like I said. But it's something I wanted to point out. The slight differences, like just one person being off, is super bad. You can easily imagine a scenario. Maybe this game's a little closer, and maybe Nixie beats Shen on the side lane. Then Aatrox is walking up here, and now since Xmithy didn't come, now they're gonna lose control of this area because their top laner loses on the bot lane. So those kinds of things you need to keep in mind about with tempo. It's super important to keeping the tempo. You don't want to lose it to stupid stuff like doing Gromp. So back onto the last thing I wanted to talk about. Kind of like a culmination of everything. Like playing for tempo, who has tempo, whose tempo is like bad, stuff like that. It's like everything put together, and it culminates in something called a tempo objective, which is basically a team getting an objective they're not supposed to get based on tempo. And in this clip, there's going to be a team fight, and it's really early in the game, so death timers are really short. So TL ends up winning this team fight like 3-1 or something. It doesn't really matter how much they win it by, but they win it by a little bit. But the point is that they take so long in winning the team fight. Zeyzal stalls so much time that TL make the correct choice, in my opinion, which is they don't try and just rush the objective right now. Excuse me. They don't just try and rush the objective right now. Like I said, that would give opportunities for C9. Like they could do stuff on top lane. If they actually did this, it's not even guaranteed that they get the Drake because they're pretty low. So it's pretty risky to actually do the Drake. So they're playing for tempo. They're gonna base after this. They just push this wave and then they all go base except for Doublewood because he wants to get bot wave. But this is like a thing where like one person's tempo is off. He's probably really close to an item, so he wants to get this item and then base. It really sucks that there's a replay here, but promise I'll just tell you what's gonna happen, which is Doublewood gets his bot wave and then bases or something, and Skarner and Rakan are basing right now. But if you look at Sedge and Zyre, who are the ones who actually died, they're going to be out on the map first. And Salas is going to be the same tempo as Skarner and Rakan is. And that all together basically results in, despite the fact that TL won this fight 3-1 or something, TL is not going to have control of the Dragon Pit. And C9 ends up just starting the Dragon because they have full control. And I mean, yeah, if the replay wasn't here, it'd be really helpful. But you come back and now you see C9, 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 all of C9. They're all ready. Zai's in base, and Skarner's doing Krugs, and Rakan's the only one trying to contest. But he can't contest because it's only Rakan. So C9 just has full control of this, and they start this dragon. This happens a lot in pro play, and it's something that you can keep your eye out for, and you'll catch a lot of pro teams doing this, which is just having a bad reset, bad tempo timing, and giving the enemy control of an objective. So this has like everything that I was talking about. TL was smart. They were playing for tempo. They weren't rushing the Drake, but they did a little too slow. So it was actually C9 that had tempo on the way out, right? And even individually on TL, you can see Impact and Doublelift here individually have bad tempo. They're not with their team, right? Doublelift was getting his item off the bot wave, and I don't know what Impact was doing. I think Impact base and Licorice didn't. So I don't know. But you see, like everything sort of goes together, and finally pushing the tempo. C9, they say, okay, we have full control of the pit. We're either starting the dragon right now, or what are we doing? And they just start the dragon. So that's why I thought it was nice. Like everything sort of culminates in this sort of play, um, and this is why I like tempo so combo. This is like really surface, level stuff. You can get way more in depth with the exactly how to use tempo and like the ways that you walk, like walking in from certain areas in certain directions to shift to lanes. But this is like a really basic understanding. I just want to give a good generic understanding to all the people who uh, don't understand Pro League that well and want to sort of understand, or people that have heard the term tempo but don't really understand how it sort of makes sense. I hope it makes more sense now. I hope that everything sort of clicks into place and that you can sort of see these concepts where like, oh, now I understand why that team didn't do and take that dragon. They wanted to base because they were trying to like, just play for tempo, right? It makes a lot more sense. And once you can kind of get the hang of it eventually. It's something that sort of messes with you. Like the first time that I sort of was introduced to this concept, it sort of confused me because I didn't really understand it. But not confused me, but it's sort of like trying to change the way that I thought about it. I thought it was really interesting. So I hope you guys did too, and I hope that this helped you understand Pro League better. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want me to do more videos like this, please let me know. If there's something I could do better to make these videos even better, also let me know. And thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day.